Hi. Hope you guys are doing really, really well. My name is Brian. I am your queer psychic bestie, and I have a reading for you. This is going to be a mid month check in for the sign of Scorpio. So, if you have Scorpio anywhere in your chart, maybe you just vibe with Scorpios, this reading might be for you. As always, take what resonates, leave what does not. Oh, this is for July, also, by the way. I keep forgetting. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do that through email or form submission on my website. But Scorpio, let's see what's going on for you mid-month in July. This is not a real structured spread for me. We're taking 6 cards, we're clarifying them in 2s, and we're just kind of seeing what's going on, what's keeping you, what do your guides want you to know, is there anything that requires your attention for the mid-month, etc., etc. Let's dive in. Bottom of the deck is your challenge. Interesting. King of Cups, Scorpio. King of Cups, 7 of Cups, 8 of Wands. Okay, so right off the bat, Scorpio, it feels like your challenge for the remainder of July is making emotionally mature choices. It's coming through pretty loud like that. It feels like with that 7 of Cups and the King of Cups here, some of you guys have it's almost like the way my guides are showing this to me is very literal, like looking in every single cup and then deciding which one you actually want. Like if you go to a restaurant and you're looking through the menu, that's kind of what my guides are showing me right now. You know, you have the ability to be a bit choosy right now, a little bit more particular with your decisions, with your choices specifically, and how they will affect your mental health, your mental capacity, etc., etc. But it feels like because it's in your challenge, it feels like you may feel a little overburdened right now. Like it may feel like things are really heavy or really difficult, because it just kind of comes across as, 'cause there's a lot of exhaustion here for you too, Scorpio, for you as well. I meant to say, like, as soon as I connected to the Scorpio energy, I was like, oh, I need a nap. So Scorpio, you may need to take some time for self-care this month, okay? Or like the mid-month may be a time to like rest, recharge, recuperate, because it just feels like you're a little bit run down is almost what I want to say, but let's talk about it. You start with the Princess of Cups and the Strength. So again, right off the bat, there are some emotional choices for you here, Scorpio. It feels like a lot of, with this Princess of Cups, there's almost like a, how do I say that? You're chasing acceptance is how I'm actually hearing this right now. It feels like some of you are kind of going after, or like going out after the things that you want in a way that feels, oh, this is harsh, Scorpio, inauthentic. Just because it feels like you're doing it for other people and not for you. So like the example I'll give you is, let's say you have long hair and you know, or like you want short hair, but everyone wants you to have long hair. You're allowing yourself to have long hair because that's what everyone else wants. So it feels like for some of you, you're going after things. Let's say you're growing your hair out again. Like literally, if you look at, that's funny that her in this card, she's like literally sitting on her hair. It's like you're growing your hair out because other people want you to, not because you want to. So it feels like you're kind of chasing things that maybe aren't very aligned with you right now. Maybe they don't feel as good as they should to you right now. And Scorpio, I feel like it's because deep down you know that it's not actually something you want. Yeah, Knight of Swords. It feels like for some of you, there's a lot of like judgment around you right now. Like you may be doing, oh, Strength twice. Yeah, 5 of Pentacles. For some of you, I feel like you're doing things out of fear. You know, you're like, well, if I don't do this, then this person will leave. Or if I don't act this way, then I won't get love from this person, or I won't get acceptance from this person, or I won't get something from this person that I want. Keep in mind, this doesn't have to be one person. This could be people, a job. There's so many of you out there. This could be for a lot of different scenarios. But when we're talking about the Knight of Swords, Scorpio, Knight of Swords is not a very cuddly person. You know, they're very sharp. They're kind of that person that they run in to start a problem before thinking about it. You know, they don't really think things through. Tends to be someone who's very rough and tumble. With that Nine of Cups, it feels like you are struggling to make the choice for yourself of like what you actually want, because again, Five of Pentacles, that's abandonment. And then the Strength card, there might be some sort of like weaponized abandonment here for you. Like, oh, if you choose that, then I won't support you. You know, or like, let's say you still live with your parents and you're like, oh, I want to go to cosmetology school. And they're like, okay, if you do that, you have to move out. Do you know what I mean here? There seems to be like some sort of like manipulating, mitigating factor here for you that's causing you to, again, live not very authentically. It's causing you to, you know, again, chase dreams that it feels like other people want you to have that may not necessarily be what you have here. Almost feels like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, Scorpio, for this mid-month. You know, it's kind of, you're struggle bussing it a little bit right now is how I want to say it. Yeah, Ten of Pentacles. For some of you, this is a lot of family. Three of Cups in the reverse. Ten of Pentacles for me is the family unit. It's also could be a job for some of you as well. It doesn't have to be family. But Three of Cups in reverse is like lack of a support system, the dissolving of a support system, or a not supportive support system. You know, it really does feel kind of icky here, Scorpio. What is this? What is this? Eight of Swords, Six of Swords. I feel like for a lot of you, this is like you're trapped somewhere, or like you're trapped with certain people, or you're trapped in a family unit of some sort. There's a lot of rigidity here, and there's a real lack of movement for you right now. And I feel like it's because of you don't want to rock the boat, like literally Six of Swords, like they're in a boat. You don't want to rock it, but it almost feels like, Scorpio, it feels like this mid-month is highlighting for you that it's like, damned if I do, damned if I don't. It feels like, I'm going to be real blunt about this. It feels like you're miserable following whatever this regime is that these people want you to follow, or you're miserable because if you don't follow the regime, you then lose the people. You know, there's like this double-headed sword here where you're like, either way I go, it hurts. Either way I do anything, it results in pain. It results in uncomfortability. But it almost feels like, Scorpio, your mid-month is leading you to a choice of the lesser of two evils. What's worse? You know, I feel like some of you, your guides are really pushing you to recognize that, like, I say this to my clients and my collectives all the time. At the end of the day, we go to bed with ourselves, and then every morning we wake up with ourselves. So I am my own ride or die for the rest of my life. You know, can I stomach? Here's the question. Can I stomach not being authentic for the rest of my life? Okay, letting go of people that don't serve you, people that are unhealthy for you, it hurts in the moment, but you recover and we heal from it and we continue to move forward. If I'm actively going against my own authenticity and actively not choosing myself for the rest of my life, that never ends until we pass. You know, it feels like some of you need to recognize here that Five of Wands, like, conflict may be present, but is it eternal? Is it what you're going to deal with for the rest of your life? Inner conflict, probably. External, chances are, if you were to let go of these people, there'd be some external conflict. There'd maybe be some sort of messy breakup, even if this is family. Maybe we'd stop talking to them, we'd go our separate ways, and in a few years we'd heal from it. If you go out and actively choose other people over you, you will be doing that for the rest of your life here, Scorpio. It feels like you need to get more in touch with who you are and like your authentic expression and what it is that you want. Can I get one more, please? Can't make it up. Five of Wands. It was on the bottom, now it's out. You know, I really do feel like, Scorpio, this is a tough one because your mid-month feels like the lesser of two evils. You feel like you're picking between a rock and a hard place, and my heart truly does go out to you. You know, I'm sending you a big hug and a lot of support, but I do feel like you need to start listening to your intuition, which is telling you that you need to pick the non-permanent pain. Okay? Waking up, that's like, let's say, you know, I came out as bisexual in the 8th grade. Um, you know, let's say I had never come out for the rest of my life. Now I have to be straight. Good luck pulling that one off, Brian. But like, could you imagine? Do you see what I mean? Like, if I made that choice to not be authentic and then I lived that for the rest of my life, when am I ever free? When am I ever free? Spoiler alert, I'm not. Okay? It feels like that's where you guys are right now. Sorry, my throat's kicking me today. Your other... Yeah, I can't talk, Scorpio. Your next two cards are the Empress and the Magician. I do feel like for a lot of you, the mid-month, sort of what's going on for you mid-July, is then also asking yourself, okay, well, if it almost feels like you're saying, well, I don't want this, you know, this first pile that we just went through, I don't want that, so then what do I want? You know, it feels like for some of you, oof, this is harsh, I'm gonna say it though, you feel like you've been living a lie for a really long time, and now it's like caught up to you. It feels like now you're kind of like, all right, well, if that's not who I am, then who am I? Feels like there's a little bit of like an identity crisis going on in this mid-month, Scorpio. Yeah, Ace of Cups. Like, what do I like? What do I enjoy? Yeah, the Chariot and the Ace of Cups. Yeah, four of Wands, Chariot, Ace of Cups. It feels like your attention is now turning to, okay, well, what can I pour myself back into? You know, what do I actually love? What do I actually want to do? How do I want to execute it? And like, what's my next move? It feels like the advice I'm hearing to tell you, I feel like I might have said this to you also, Scorpio, in the last reading, because I'm getting a little bit of deja vu. Just try it. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You know, sorry about the light. I don't know. It just does this sometimes where the camera just like messes with the light. I don't really know how to fix it. I'll be honest with you. But it feels like a lot of you need to, for as crude as it sounds, just try it. Just try it. What's the worst that's going to happen? You know, let's say you have an inkling that maybe you want to learn Japanese. Take a class. Try it. I had a friend in college who thought she wanted to learn Japanese, and because she loved anime her whole life, and she took it and she did a year of it, and she said, you know what, I'm just really not passionate about this at all. You know, that's okay. You're allowed to make that choice. You're allowed to make that decision. It feels like if you're looking for what you love, you just gotta try. Try different things. Think about a video game. I don't know how many video games I've played in my life before deciding which games I actually enjoyed and actively wanted to pursue, okay? It feels like a lot of this mid-month, that's a lot of what's falling to you is the responsibility to just try new things here, Scorpio, and go after it. And so what if you don't like it? Start a different one. Start over. One of your superpowers, Scorpio, as well as our power as humans, is that, is that we get to start over. We do. You know, we get to try something and decide that we don't like it. And we get to continually have ego deaths for the rest of our lives and reinvent ourselves over and over and over again. Okay? With the Four of Cups here and the Six of Diamonds in the reverse, I will also say this. It's going to be a rough one to hear, but my guides really want me to be blunt. You will lose people. You will lose people, places, and things by choosing yourself. It's like trimming the fat off of like a steak or something. You know, I don't really eat steak, but it was a good analogy at the moment. It's like you're going to let go of that part that you don't want, that thing that you don't need. Okay. And I feel like some of you need to, I know this is harsh, but you need to reconcile with the fact that some of the people around you are not good for you. They're not healthy to be around. They're not conducive to an authentic life that you are trying to live. And I know that that's painful. I know that a lot of you guys are like holding out hope here. You're thinking like, well, what if things change? And what if this happens? And what if that happens? Babe, things may always change, but whether or not someone changes, that's up to them. That's not up to you. Yeah, Six of Cups. This feels like particularly painful, Scorpio, because it's people you've known. Six of Cups is like childhood energy, nostalgia. I am also begging you to take your rose-colored goggles off. Okay, I get it. My room is pink, rose-colored goggles. Here we are. But like, this is not the moment. Okay, you need to start seeing people for who they are and not who you want them to be. Okay, it feels like a lot of you are just putting off these decisions in the mid-month and like not choosing yourself because of, well, what's going to happen to these people? Where are they going to go? How are things going to, what's going to transpire after this? Some things you have to just leave up to mystery. We don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I truthfully don't. And that's just something you have to sit within yourself. Your last two cards are the Three of Pentacles and the Hierophant. I will tell you that you will find new people. I will tell you that you will find people that are more committed to you, jobs that are more committed to you, friends that are more committed to you, if you are authentic. Okay, the example I'll give you is, let's say you're in an underwater basket weaving class and you fucking hate it. You really want to take beginner yoga. If you're meant to meet people in beginner yoga, how can you expect to meet them when you're still sitting in underwater basket weaving? Do you see what I mean here? The people you're meant to be with and meet and connect with are over here, and you're still over here. How do we get from point A to point B? By letting go of underwater basket weaving, by accepting that maybe it's not for you. Maybe this is just not where your path has led you. Yeah, Page of Cups, Knight of Crystals in the Tower. I feel like some of you are going to be shocked by the people that enter your life. You're going to be shocked by the support that you were always meant to have, but then didn't get. I feel like for some of you here, how do I say this? There's a little bit of an energy coming through of like some of you may have been raised around like very religious families, very religious parents. And some of you may not be, you may be a little bit alternative looking like me. Piercings, tattoos, whatever the case may be. And I feel like some of you are still not used to being respected or seen or even complimented for these things about yourself. And I feel like you're going to be genuinely surprised by how much warmer of a reception you're going to get here in your near future than you are currently getting in the place that wherever you are, For a lot of you, it's mom. Queen of Pentacles with the Eight of Wands. I feel like when we talk about the mother wound, we talk about it literally so much, so often. It is what is keeping you from your authenticity here, is that fear of, well, I'll never be accepted or I'll never be looked at the same again. All these things keep us from who we're meant to be, Scorpio. And it feels like mid-month July for you is going to be a lot of reconciling, again, that you may not be what your mother wanted. You may not be the person that she thought you were. Is that going to stop you from you being you, though? We are not responsible for the version of us that exists in other people's minds, Scorpio. Okay. And I feel like your mid-month check-in here, a lot of what's going on for you is just simply you need to learn to like yourself without hinging that on whether or not someone else likes you. 10 of crystals, yeah. I feel like at the end of the day here, Scorpio, with that 10 of wands, there needs to be an acknowledgement of like how difficult this actually is. Okay, this is like, we can talk about this until we're blue in the face, in my case, pink at the face. I don't know if that caught on the video, but there's like thunder outside. You know, it is a difficult choice to make. Choosing yourself, especially for the rest of your life. Like we said, I tell my clients that all the time. Choosing us is the hardest decision we'll ever make for the rest of our lives. But it is the most worthwhile decision we will ever make for the rest of our lives. Okay. This is a tough one, Scorpio. Mid-July looking rough for you guys here. But I feel like, you know, this is a very fancy way to say you're having an identity crisis, you know, but I do feel like for a lot of you, it is going to subside. You will find yourself. You will figure out who you are. You'll figure out what you want to do, where you want to go, all these things, but you have to let go of things that are chaining you to inauthentic versions of yourself. Okay? There's a tether there. A lot of you are tethered to a version of you that isn't you. You have to figure out how to sever that tie to gain access to the version of yourself that you actually want to be. Okay? All right, let's get you an oracle. This is the Angelarium. It is my favorite oracle deck currently. If you've watched any of my other videos, you've already seen this deck, but let's get you an oracle, Scorpio. What is going on for Scorpio? Mid-month, can I get oracle for Scorpio, please? What is the advice for the mid-month? Thank you. Interesting. Okay, so you got two. I'll read them both. Your first one is Coca BL. You'll notice this is literally the she's the angel on the on the deck, Angel of the Stars, and then Sariel, Angel of the Waning Moon. I'm gonna read them both for you. All right. Coca BL, where are you? 31 for Coca BL. All right. Drawing cards from a divination deck certainly speaks to a latent curiosity, but drawing this card specifically may speak to a deeper desire to seek answers from the infinite. When a question hangs over our heads, it does so with the same intensity as starlight and clear sky. Seek your answers, but don't be dazzled by the dance of faraway glimmers. This card always reminds me, Coca BL, that like we can pull tarot cards, we can pull oracle cards, we can gaze into the future, but we also need to not let it distract us. Okay? We can look into the future, we can glimpse it, see it, get a little outline of it, but we're not meant to know exactly what happens because we're still living in the present. Okay? Let's get you Sariel as well. Sariel is 29, so right before Coca BL. Interesting. Cool. With hunger comes the claws of desperation. If you have drawn this card, it should be a sign that you are waiting for something. Though your mind wanders, a single shard remains fixed, focused, and waiting. What is at the root of your fixation? Without answering this question, you may be unable to control the part of you that obsesses over that fixation. Scorpio, we've got some heavy lifting to do mid-July here. All right, babes. I will leave your reading there for you, Scorpio. Once again, I apologize about the lights. I really don't know what to, like, I'm like, do I cover her? Does that make it go away? But then it just comes back. I don't know. I gotta fix it. But I will leave your reading there. If this reading resonates with you, or if maybe just my reading style resonates with you, do consider liking and subscribing. We are on the road to 100 subscribers. We're like 5 away. So exciting. But if you would like to interact with me on a live basis, I do go live 3 days a week on Twitch, where I read tarot. We do group readings, not group readings, collectives as well as personals. You can catch me Wednesday and Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. EST, as well as Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. EST on Twitch. I hope to see you all I can't speak. I hope to see you all there one day. But if not, Scorpio, that's okay. I will catch you in the next reading. All right? Bye.